Let's just start talking, he says. Immediately gets up.
I forgot to turn on the light, man.
All right.
Turn on the light.
We got him again.
Not
Fooled.
this again.
Hoodwinked.
Are we starting like this?
Pranked. We are starting like this. This is the episode.
Okay.
We're here.
April Fools. Hey, you got us. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we jump into some crazy stuff, how's everyone's week going?
Yeah.
Zachariah.
Going all right.
And
Going all right. Just busy, stressful.
Work.
About it. Work, classes,
that's a
all
bar.
the above. Yeah. Playing Outlast Trials right now with some of the guys. It's been pretty fun.
I'm not gonna lie. If you guys haven't watched or seen that video game at all, go look at it because that is an entertaining video game to watch.
At
I'll be
first,
like
it was
scrolling.
funny.
I'm like, fuck, I need to like stop scrolling. And then I'll look up. I'll start watching it for like 20 minutes and not even know. And then Ant will be like, "Oh, are you watching?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Like,
and they're
it
just
was
chopping
funny.
off some dude's fucking arm. I'm like, "Oh, jeez."
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's been.
It
fun
does
to
sound
watch
like a
it.
fun game.
Yes.
It was
Zach,
fun to watch
how you doing?
for sure. Good, man. It's been a good week. Ready for March Madness. I'm wearing my Boise State polo because I am praying that they're
Same.
going to win. It is
Same.
currently
Yeah, same.
11-9. So
It's
Please,
over.
God.
We're cooked.
if there's
Chat, are
one
we
prayer you
cooked?
can answer, please, God, let it be this one. Keaton, what about you, man? How's your week?
It was good. Week was good. I showed up to work yesterday. We're filming this on Wednesday, the 20th. I showed up to work yesterday on Tuesday and worked for like 25 minutes. And I was like, God, I feel like someone's supposed to have their day off today since Tuesday usually kicks off the comp days. And my manager looks at the schedule and goes, Keaton, go home. And I go, why so? And she goes, it's your day off. And I just lost it. I was so upset. I was so frustrated.
Oh, man.
I
How
got
long
the
of a drive
mindset
is
that I
that?
was here to work. It's like 20 minutes, so it's not the worst,
that's
but
not
it's
too
just
bad.
like, it's
Yeah,
just
you're in the
so like
mindset
I
of
get
doing-
up, shower, get ready, and it's like, okay,
Right.
now I don't even have to work.
That's tough.
Um,
That's tough.
Last thing before we jump into the week. Last week we made a blunder, and I made an unfortunate mistake, especially in a rap lyric that I said about Draymond Green. It was not our 23rd episode. So if you guys were watching, that was not.
Yeah,
that was episode
messed up.
25.
25. Yeah.
We were cooked. So what's a notable
We're
basketball
just
player?
doing
26?
random shit, bro. Didn't even make sense. I saw that it was episode 25. I was like, oh God. All that for nothing. That intro was crazy, by the way. That whole
was a
intro
good
for the
intro.
first 3 minutes, I was like, oh my God, what is happening, man?
Anyway, well, yeah, it's episode 26 of the In the Endzone podcast. We have a lot to talk about, not so much as last week, but probably a little less chaotic as last week as well, because there was so much to talk about. I think jumping in, honestly, I feel like we should talk a little bit about some of the recent quarterback moves that have happened.
Justin Fields to the Steelers.
Yep, most notably Justin
Winston,
Fields traded for picks to the Steelers, and Kenny Pickett traded to the Eagles for some picks. So pretty wild, pretty crazy.
Absolutely no sense for both of them.
We'll talk a little bit more about that draft class too, that 2021-2022 draft class here in a little bit. But yeah, man, it's pretty nuts how I mean, it's weird how far that Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields have fallen from grace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kenny Pickett never really had that, but I'll be honest, I felt like Justin Fields had the option to be a good. What the heck? Sorry. Yeah, there you go.
No,
I feel like Justin Fields had the opportunity to be a good productive player and didn't work out in Chicago. So maybe playing under Russell Wilson for a year will benefit him, but it's kind of weird how hyped he was coming out of college, and now he's a backup.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I think it's crazy that, again, we've seen this happen with so many quarterbacks, but Justin Fields hasn't really played like a complete bust yet. Like, you can see the potential in Justin Fields. He just hasn't put it all together, right? He's extremely athletic, knows how to get around the pocket, does not throw very well in it, right? Not a quarterback that you want to start. However, we've seen Russell do the same thing, but he is a good pocket present type of quarterback or is good throwing the ball in the pocket. So I'm curious if this is kind of like a mentor thing. And it seems like the NFL is kind of shifting towards this mentor type of quarterback deal. And so I'm thinking it's kind of like that. because Russell probably has 3 years left in him, maybe if he plays well. So I'm curious to see next year what will happen, but that one was crazy. They traded him for a 6th round pick, and if he plays and does well enough, performs well enough, it'll go to a 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kenny Pickett was traded for a bag of Lay's or something like that. I don't even remember what it was. It was really nothing, but
oven fried or kettle cooked?
probably kettle cooked. I don't know. I mean, we'll give him
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt.
Ketchup
It's not
chips.
baked.
That's what he was
It's not-
traded for.
Yeah, they're not baked. We'll say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those ones kind of shocked me. Those were crazy.
Yeah, pretty nuts. Ant, was there a we have a whole thing that we kind of wrote out, little topics and stuff like that. And was there something that you maybe wanted to focus on? Something that was you kind of found interesting this week?
Yeah, actually, we're going to kind of jump over here. I find it very interesting. I think we kind of all saw it coming, though, obviously, from last week, but it finally happened. Keenan Allen was traded to the Bears, and Mike Williams was traded to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Very interesting stuff right there. What are the Chargers doing?
Nothing.
I'll tell you what.
Like, they're
It's
in
the same
full
thing as the
rebuild mode.
Cowboys. Nothing. They're literally doing nothing. Sorry, I'm trying to find this.
They're doing something. They're just, it's not like they're in full rebuild mode. Like
Nothing good.
They're getting rid of all. From what I realized and from what I noticed is that they're getting rid of every single old person on their team. Keenan Allen's gone.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler's gone. Mike Williams is gone. You have Justin Herbert, who he's young for sure, and everyone else are just.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. I know you guys are both just itching right now. It's just like heroin. You're both itching to say it.
Ant, I'll let you finish what you're going to say, and I'll say my thing.
Justin Herbert's a bum.
God. There
He's
it
a
is.
bum. I stand by it. I don't care. He is a bum.
He's not a
Keaton,
bum.
is he a bum? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great success.
Listen.
Great
Listen. Let me just be perfectly honest here. You're asking what the Chargers are doing by getting rid of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. What were they doing with them? It's not like they made the playoffs with those players on the roster. It's not like Justin Herbert turned into a Pro Bowl quarterback with those two players on their roster last year. Let's be honest. Geno Smith has more Pro Bowl appearances than Justin Herbert does. That's a stat. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. All right. And here's a number for you. Here's a number for you. Justin Herbert, 0 Super Bowl wins. 0. Sorry. No, but here's the thing. They weren't, it's not like they were good with them. So it's like if you're it's just kind of the Seahawks fallacy too. And it's not so much about Justin Herbert, but it's like, I think the Chargers for the longest time have been investing in the wrong pieces to help build a winning franchise. I think you can find good receivers anywhere. Could you find A+ receivers anywhere? Absolutely not. They're a dime a dozen. But you can find substantially good running backs and receivers. What you can't find is great offensive line, consistent offensive line, a healthy one. And I think Herbert, for the better part of the last few years, has dealt with the struggling offensive line. He's dealt with kind of G League, if you will, CFL wide receivers. And I think if you can trim up the fat, so to speak, yes, it gives Justin Herbert a better opportunity. Keenan Allen is great. He can't really stay healthy, and neither can Mike Williams. Honestly, get rid of him before they ask for a fat contract. That being said, Herbert is still on the his legacy, lack thereof, is still on the table. It's not like he's done things where I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's the future. He has the intangibles. He has X, Y, and Z, but he can't put it together. And he doesn't get a lot of wins. He doesn't get a lot of wins.
Defense has been so trash though since he's been there.
And I was just about to say, it's not necessarily his fault.
Right.
But when you are the most slobbed on, meat-ridden player in the entire NFL, I expect some success. And you're not providing it, pal. Go to your Subway commercial and your Kendall auto shop commercial. I don't want to hear it from you anymore. So
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
until they can win successfully, I'm gonna just give this trade a meh, or releasing meh.
That's fair.
But
So,
it can't
Keaton,
get worse than they already are.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Now, Keaton,
I think they
wanna
might
hear
be the
your-
worst
oh,
team in that division. Sorry.
Oh,
No,
they'll be the worst team in that
before we move
division. They
on.
were last year too.
in that division. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
want
they
to
will
ask Keaton a question though.
Sure.
Keaton, the one I want you to talk about a little bit of what
Yes.
you
All right.
found about Ayuk.
Okay.
Zach
Zach's favorite-
can pipe in at the end of this, but I want Keaton to really explain this.
Another prayer.
okay.
Answered. Please, God.
We saw
Please.
we saw
Please.
we saw the same thing done with Deebo Samuel when he was trying to get his contract extension. So it's not shocking that another Niners wide receiver is doing this. But for those who don't know, Deebo Samuel went on Twitter, or X, not ever calling it that, but he tweeted at Mike Tomlin, "Bro, we're twins."
Brandon
right?
Ayuk, not Debo, right?
Sorry, Brandon Ayuk,
Yeah.
following Debo's footsteps,
Yes,
tweeted
yes.
at Mike Tomlin,
Yeah.
"Bro, we're twins." And people took that as, he's a Steeler. He's a Steeler. And now rumors are popping up that the Steelers are trying to get him on a trade. And one,
Insane,
here's first and foremost. I don't think the Steelers I don't think the Niners want to trade Ayuk, nor will they, unless they got 3 first rounders and a second rounder. 2, I think Ayuk's just saying this to get a contract extension. I think he's just trying to build up his like,
That's
I
like
could
Debo
leave
did.
at any time, pal. Exactly what Debo did. However, what I worry about on the Niners' behalf, playing the devil's advocate in favor of the Steelers, I worry about how the Niners make his contract work. You know, they've restructured quite a few people, but Brandon Ayuk is not part. He's a large part, but he's one part of a 52-man roster that they're still struggling to piece together. They have a lot of draft picks. They have a lot of draft picks in this season, or in this upcoming draft. My guess is that they trade away a lot of them with players to help clear up cap space. I don't personally know, but they have to figure out something because Ayuk will leave. He is better than Debo. He's an actual wide receiver, so I would actually say, more of a weapon than Debo is. And it's situationally, he's better than Debo. Debo's mad elusive, but he does also take the form of 2 positions sometimes, which can hinder an offense.
Brandon
That being said,
Ayuk
I think
better wide receiver. Debo.
I think he's a better fit. Yes, I think Brandon Ayuk fits on more teams than Debo would, personally.
Yes, for sure.
Anyway,
I
will say, if Ayuk went to the Steelers, it would be Russell Wilson with Brandon Ayuk would be a massacre.
It's already stacked. That division's gonna be crazy. Speaking about that though, I just saw, I believe it was yesterday, it was a Instagram post of all the teams' cap space. We have like roughly 14 million. If you guys didn't see the video we made last week, you should go check it out. We'll talk about that in a second. But it's about the Niners and cap space and how we're gonna have to pay him roughly 25 million. With that being said, I really think, kind of piggybacking off what you said, Keaton, the only way that that's going to work is if we backload the fuck out of his contract. We backload his contract completely. And if that isn't the case, and he doesn't want to stay with us, he's going to be signing for a hefty contract. The one thing I will say, I saw the Jags rumor. I saw the Jags offered the Niners offered the Jags a trade request for Zay Jones and their first round pick for Brandon Ayuk. And I looked at that. I'm like, I wouldn't want it. 17th pick, Zay Jones, who's basically a wide receiver 3 in a fucking team that we have already 3 wide receivers, good wide receivers too. And so it's like, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, you're trading a first rounder in the hopes that you're going to draft a wide receiver that's just as good as Brandon Ayuk, if not better. But you have him on your team. And then you get Zay Jones, who's a wide receiver 3 on a team that already has 3 good wide receivers. It doesn't make sense. So that one would have
the Jags also declined that too, because they know that.
That's what I'm saying.
They know on top of that they would have to pay Ayuk so much, and I think they don't have that cap space right now. They don't have enough for that. That's probably why they declined it. That's my assumption with it. At least it makes the most sense on why they did not take that. Which in a sense, it's a smart play. But interesting stuff.
But hold on a second before we move on. I want to get into this video. So like I said, we posted this one. It was basically about like the wide receiver market and how I'm nervous because I'm a 49ers fan, right? And so in this video is Calvin Ridley, who signed what was his contract again? 4-year, 92. Yeah, 4-year, 92 million. And then Michael Pittman was 3 years, 71, I believe.
Which is insane for them to get Pittman for what they did.
Yeah, which means that both those wide receivers, who again, I'm going to say it again, I think are worse than Brandon Ayuk, are getting paid $23 million a year. Brandon Ayuk's going to get 25. Anyways, our whole thing was that video, and then our caption was, "Will the 49ers be able to afford Brandon Ayuk?" This guy named Greg P.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this guy.
Shout out Greg. If you're watching, man, shout out you. But he said, "I'm a Niners fan, and I can firmly say Brandon Ayuk is not better than Calvin Ridley. You're nuts." I said, "Greg, ... please go watch the ball." And he said, "Bro, I watch every game on Sunday." And then he goes, "Ridley is a product of Nick Saban, arguably one of the best Bama wide receivers ever. Outperformed Julio Jones, continues to go through it." And then I just hit him with the stats. Calvin Ridley, 76 receptions, 1,016 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 gambling suspension. Brandon Ayuk, 75 receptions, 1,343 yards, 7 touchdowns, no suspension. And then he just goes crazy. And then everyone in the comments is like backing me. So I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But that was a good one. That was a good argument or a little debate.
Yeah.
I'll say.
That guy, that's a non-ball knower. That is a guy who became a Niners fan last season.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That is a non. Also, gotta just say, finding out that Calvin Ridley had 1,000 yards,
dude, I
like
was shocked too.
I was very shocked.
Like a very underwhelming season for Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Dude.
Also, I think yards are a lot more common. 1,000-yard seasons are a lot more common than they've ever been.
Yeah, but he also had 8 touchdowns. Like that's a pretty decent year for a wide receiver.
He had like statistically a really good year. So I don't know. We'll see.
He also had a ton of drops. So I don't know.
Moving on. This is something I did want to bring up as well. Hollywood to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm.
I mean, they did it again.
I'm nervous.
They did it again. They added a decent to to good wide receiver.
He's good.
And Patrick Mahomes is going to make him a great wide receiver. It's just that simple.
Yep. He'll be
You're going to have Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown with Travis Kelce.
It'll be interesting. They just got better for sure. And I hate him so much.
Bye-bye Tony Kadarius. Kadarius Tony.
Good.
Tony
he needs
Kadarius.
to be in the
Tony of Kadarius.
Team, league, conference, all of it. He needs to be gone. CFL, all of it. Speaking about that, though, I forgot what I was going to say. Wait, hold on. It's going to come to me. Hold on.
Bro, spitting.
Oh, my God. I forgot.
Anyway, well, while he's thinking of that, okay, I do. We're going to talk a little bit more about Aaron Donald retiring later. So if you guys are like thinking that we don't know ball, we'll talk about it. 2 big things. Chase Young signs to the Saints. I think that's a really big thing. Saints with Cam Jordan, who's obviously been one of the most premier linemen in the entire NFL for years and years and years, get to add another premier edge rusher. I think the Saints are going to bolster up that defense as they already have, and they'll be really good. I think that's a really good fit for him. Other notable thing, 2 more. KJ Osborne to the Patriots. I don't know if it necessarily moves the needles for me. Actually, and I'll let you talk a little bit about that. KJ Osborne had statistically a pretty decent year. I mean, he was the third man.
So he had a decent
the third
year,
man, but he can't be the number 1.
He can be the number 1, exactly. But the thing, and Zach and I kind of talked about this a little bit on our own, and what it kind of came down to is that he's a decent receiver. Don't get me wrong, like he is decent, but he's not a wide receiver 1. Like we're still lacking on finding guys who are like that can be wide receiver 1s. I mean, okay, maybe not can be, but who like really are wide receiver 1s, and that's hard. Like realistically, KJ Osborne is more like wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, and I think that I don't know, it's still lacking a little bit, but I do like how they're at least moving somewhat in the right direction. I'm not saying we're going to be good at all. We're going to suck.
Yeah.
We're going to be the worst team in the NFL or one of them again. It's going to be rough, but I mean,
It's okay. You guys had your glory days.
Yeah, you
we did. We'll be back in 5 years. I'm just kidding. I don't even know if it'll be 5 years.
Crazy.
But I don't hate it. Let's put it that way. I don't hate it.
That's fair.
That's my opinion on it.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Well, I can't remember what I was going to say with the wide receiver earlier.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember. But the other thing I was going to say was that Juwan Jennings signed with the 49ers. So you guys probably can't see it, but it's a 1-year contract. Yeah.
They bring back a big player.
It says a 1-year contract offer of at least the amount required by the terms of the NFL collective bargaining agreement, blah, 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 blah. Which I thought he was on contract still, so I don't really understand what happened there. Maybe he wasn't, but he signed.
He might have been
and that's our wide receiver 3, so I'm excited about that.
I mean, that's a big player to bring back. I mean, he does bolster that. He is very consistent, so I will give you guys credit. Okay, well we have a few more things quickly. I'll say Jimmy G, he's getting passed around like a white girl in Miami on spring break. He's now playing for the Rams. He's
crazy,
he's
man.
now with the Rams. I mean, this guy is one man's trash, another man's treasure is Jimmy G.
Yep.
What a fall from grace. Plays like I mean, he plays 9 games with the Niners, gets a fatty contract after he tears his ACL, never regains that form, and has just been passed around California ever since.
Dude, he's been so bad. He's been so bad, man.
Real quick, well, and this is the last thing because we have a few more big topics. So Bengals add Trent Brown to their offensive line.
Huge.
I think that's
huge
a huge signing. Trent Brown is one of the most consistently healthy offensive linemen. He's also very consistent and extremely good at what he does. I think it's a perfect fit. You had him and Orlando Brown Jr. On either side. I mean, Joe Burrow has no excuses to be injured this year. He's got a perfect, for the most part, no offensive line is going to be perfect. He's got a good offensive line. This will be the best he's ever had.
For sure.
He's got no excuses.
Shouldn't be a problem. Should not be a problem.
Shouldn't be a problem. If it is a problem, I have my concerns. But for now, we'll hold off. Zach, do we want to talk a little bit about maybe this Jerry Jeudy extension, and then we'll jump into the Aaron Donald retirement?
Makes no sense.
Anthony, you can go into it because you sent it to me, but I mean, I don't understand it either. What was his contract?
I'm pulling it up right now.
The Browns
it was big for no reason.
Hang on, I'm pulling it up. So, Jerry Jeudy.
Oh my god, dude! I'm screw up. That's bad.
It's an awful contract.
Jerry Jeudy agrees to a 3-year extension worth up to $58 million with $41 million guaranteed at signing.
We are so fucked. We are fucked. $19 million to Jerry fucking Bummy Jeudy? Is this serious? $19 million to a bum. He belongs on the streets. Oh my god, we're so screwed. Brandon Ayuk's getting 26. I can't believe it. Jerry Jeudy. Okay. For those that are thinking, okay, Zach, you might be overreacting. Yeah. How about this? 54 fucking receptions, 758 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Don't think I'm overreacting for $19 million. I could play wide receiver for that much.
If you gave me 6 months to train, I could run a go route for $19 million a year. I could run an inside out. Give me a wheel.
It's insane.
I'll run a zig and a curl. Give me 6 months to train. It's a bad contract. The Browns, okay, I'll be perfectly frank. Time will tell. Okay, here's my I'll play devil's advocate. Jerry Jeudy has not had a consistent quarterback since he's been with the Broncos. He's been with what is it? 3 bad head coaches in his time. And Sean Payton's kind of an asterisk because he turned that team around near the end. They still struggled. He's dealt with basically 3 different quarterbacks at any given point. So he hasn't, I personally don't think he's had a fair opportunity. But on the contrary, you look at Courtland Sutton, and Courtland Sutton, for all intents and purposes, has dealt with a lot of injuries, and he's dealt with the exact same situations, and he's still produced more. And Jerry Jeudy has some of the worst ball catching skills I have seen in the NFL. His
tracking ability is horrible.
If you were at like if you went like S tier, and S tier is like Mike Evans, Prime Julio, you know what? Give me DK up there.
Yeah.
At like SA tier, you drop all the way down. D tier is going to be Jerry Jeudy. F tier is Kadarius Toney. That's where he's at.
Yep.
If Jerry Jeudy gets in open space, he's done. Can't see that.
Oh, please,
it's like too bright. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Call of Duty.
That's been my team's name for the last 2 years of fantasy. You know where he's been on my team? On the bench.
Or on the waivers.
$19 million on the bench or on the waivers.
Yep.
If you're listening, Jerry Jeudy, screw you, man. That's all I got to say. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Anyways,
all right.
What are some of the teams that we think are going to be lethal in 2024? Especially after all these signings. I mean, there's a division that stands out completely to me. That's the AFC North.
AFC North, all lethal.
Dude,
I think they're all going
to make it. I'm not joking.
They might. Here's my NFC teams. I've got 2 dark horses that I think will be very surprisingly good.
Ooh.
And I not like surprisingly like very good, but surprisingly good. And I think I have my 3 lethal teams.
Okay.
Like teams that are like you're really not going to want to compete with.
Go for it.
And I'm actually just going to pull up the teams in the NFC, so I don't want to miss anyone. All right, let me just go to my dark horse teams. So my 2 dark horse teams are going to be. Sorry, I thought my cat walked in. The 2 dark horse teams that I have are going to be the Bucks again. I think the Bucks are going to be a sneaky. I think they're going to be better than they were last year, and last year got them to the NFC divisional round. I think they're better than they were prior.
I don't think they can win that division with Atlanta.
I think they're still better than Atlanta. I think the NFC South got significantly better. We talked about this last year. That division is a toss up, so we don't know.
Right.
But I'm also looking at this, and my other dark horse team that I think is also going to kind of find its way into lethal is the Rams.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I think the Rams are stupidly flipping loaded out the wazoo. Bless you, Anthony. Dark horse teams, Ram. I think the Rams are going to be really good. My lethal teams, I think, are going to be the Niners. I think they're still lethal. I want to say Dallas, but I worry about what they have not done in free agency. Yep. So I worry a little bit about them. I think my 3 lethal teams are going to be San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Detroit.
I like it.
You could argue the Packers. You could argue the Packers over the Buccaneers, but I think I don't know.
Well,
I need to see more out of Jordan Love.
3 teams that I think are going to be surprising or very good or kind of mediocre. Number 1, I think the Bears, if they draft Caleb Williams, have a legit chance of making the wild card. That defense from top to bottom might be the second best in the NFC.
Stop. Caleb Williams.
Stop. He's going to be a dog. I don't care. I think they're going to be
Shanghai
great.
Shark in 5 years.
The Packers scare the shit out of me. I think they might win that division by a landslide. Not by a landslide. I messed that up.
Over Detroit?
I meant to say I think Atlanta is going to win that division by a landslide. Okay. However, I think the Packers have a real chance of winning that division. Hear me out. That defense last year lacked quite a few playmakers in the secondary, and it got better when Jair came back, but when he was out, they were bad. Dude, that Xavier McKinley signing, I'm telling you, might be the most underrated signing of all free agency. He is a Swiss Army knife at safety. That team is going to be very good. I think the Lions will be good. I think the 49ers will be good. I like Atlanta. And then the other team that I think is going to underperform comparative to what they should do actually is the Eagles. I think that defense is trash. I still think it's bad with all of the mediocre signings that they did. So
Yeah.
I think that they could win that division, especially with, God, dude, one of the worst takes I've seen all offseason was Nick Wright and the Colin Cowherd saying that the Commanders were going to be the best team in the NFC. I couldn't believe it. Both of them said that. They're not even going to be close to winning that division. So I think the Eagles can still win that division, but I think that division is going to be weak. It's going to be weak, man. It's going to be weak. So those are my NFC teams. AFC, I talked about them all the time. I still think Houston's going to make the playoffs and make a deep run.
They're winning the
The
division.
AFC South is crazy to me. Like that division last year was way better than expected.
AFC South or AFC North?
AFC South. That division last year was
With
way better
Houston?
than expected. Yeah. All of them were above 500, and I did not think they would be. And then you get the Colts, where they kind of sign a couple of players. They get Anthony Richardson back. So that's a crazy division to me. I think it's crazy underrated. And then, again, the AFC North it's stacked. It's stacked. I don't even know who I could pick for that, honestly. And then the Chiefs, I think, will win. I think the Raiders are going to be above 500.
So I was going to
think
say
they could do
my
well,
Raiders.
man.
I almost said my Raiders, but I think the Raiders are my AFC dark horse team.
Dude, I think they could do well.
I think
I
they
hate
could
saying
too.
it, but I think they could. Dude, that defense
Culture.
should be stacked.
Culture.
Yes, exactly. Just a couple other topics, though, that actually, Anthony, what do you think?
Patriots.
What do I think?
Mm-hmm. Dark horse teams. Dark horse teams, good teams, bad teams, underperforming teams. What do you think?
Packers are going to be good. I'm saying it now. I think Packers are going to be good. I think they're end up top in their division. I think it's going to be a battle between them and Detroit. Actually, I don't know. I'm going to stick with my gut on that. I think Packers are going to be top in their division, but like I said, it will be a battle between them. I'm saying it now. I've been saying this the entire year, this entire year so far. The Bengals are going to go insane. They're going to go nutty.
I like it.
Joe Burrow, when he's healthy, he's the second best quarterback in the NFL.
And he's beating the best one.
He's beating the best. He's the only current NFL quarterback to beat the best right now in playoffs. I think Raiders are going to be sneaky good as well. Excuse me. Kind of looking around. Jacksonville, I think, could be pretty decent.
Yeah, jury's still out on her, or I almost said Herbert, but Trevor Lawrence. Thank you.
Yeah.
Last year, low-key.
I think
wasn't healthy.
I think honestly, I think this is going to be. I think this will be interesting, but I think Miami's going to choke it again, big time.
It's Miami.
It's Miami. Like, I like the team overall. I think they're a great team. I just don't think. I think they're going to go far, but they're not going to go.
They got rid of a lot of good players.
They did. I just don't think they're going to go as far as I think most people would expect them to go. Ravens are scary. They're scary. Eagles are scary. I honestly think that the Ravens and the Eagles are the top two scariest teams in the NFL right now.
Oh,
after seeing these trades,
I like that.
That's ballsy.
Well, I mean,
that.
Do I love the idea of the Eagles being at your list like that? No, but then I also put them at my top of my list. So, that's a really risky but good pick.
That's why we're here. We're here to just debate, discuss.
Exactly.
You know,
we're here to yap, right?
Dude, that defense.
We are here to yap.
We're just
that defense
snappers.
Yeah,
it's okay. We'll see. We'll see what that Saquon fit does. Yeah,
exactly.
I like it.
Time will tell, right? Time will tell. You know, it's so obviously the season. Like, yes, the season has started technically, but also like we haven't seen anything though. Time will tell. Yeah. See what happens. We could all be wrong. You never know. You never know. And that's the best part about
this. It's the NFL. Yep. That's the best part about
it. In general,
you're never right.
Sports. It happens.
Yep.
Yeah. You're never right.
You're never right unless Kansas City's playing the Super Bowl.
True.
And then they win. Unless they're playing against the other GOAT.
Yep.
You never you know what I'm learning? Never bet against the GOAT. Ever. You can't do it in the NFL. They make too much money off of them.
Unless the GOAT's playing Eli Manning.
I'm just kidding. But I'm Still low-key venting about the Super Bowl. I can't do it.
It's okay.
Oh, I can't do
Okay.
it.
You guys will win one in
Keaton.
the next 100 years. You guys could be like Chicago Cubs.
Okay, Keaton, please don't remind me. Anyways,
Yeah, sorry, Zach. If you guys don't win one this next season, you guys got another few years before.
I know, Anthony.
I think you guys are Super Bowl contenders.
Well, that's okay.
So we have to sign Brock, and things get really dirty with that. And
Yeah.
I can't do it.
All right.
I can't do another year. I can't think about it. But let's get into
That's
our
okay.
last two segments.
Yeah.
Keaton, you kind of mentioned it. Go into it.
Okay, well, huge news out of the NFL. Sam Howell traded to Seattle. I mean, huge, absolutely massive moment. And of course, the day after Sam Howell becomes a Seattle Seahawk, Aaron Donald decides just randomly, "Oh, I'm going to retire." I mean, could it be any less obvious? He's clearly afraid to play Sam Howell again. I mean, he just like I don't think he had a problem with Geno. I don't think Brock Purdy. But the day after Sam Howell becomes a Seattle Seahawk, he goes, "Well, I can't do the NFL anymore." Grow a pair, pal. Fucking grow a pair. Jesus. No, but in all seriousness,
That's
Aaron Donald announces his retirement. Obviously, goes down as one of the greatest defensive players, if not one of the greatest players of all time. Will absolutely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Will get a shrine in Canton. He will forever be put up he'll be in the Mount Rushmore conversation with the Lawrence Taylors. I almost said DeMarcus Lawrence. My goodness. With the Lawrence Taylors, the Joe Greens, the JJ Watts, because people still think of JJ Watt as one of the best to ever do it. But those type of players, right? And especially at that type of position.
Yeah, I got a hot take.
I know.
I think he's the second.
And go ahead.
I think he's the second best player I've ever watched, ever, behind Tom Brady. Like, I don't think it's even a question. I also think, and I'll talk about this later on, JJ Watt might be the most overrated defensive player of all time, and that was probably what Keaton was alluding to. He had a great 5-year run, then he got injured and whatever. But I'll get into that a different time. We have another game segment coming up with that, so stay tuned for that. However, I will say, again, I don't know if you guys rate Aaron Donald this high, but I genuinely think he's the best defense player I've ever watched, hands down. Hands down.
In my lifetime, yes.
Yep.
In my lifetime, absolutely. I would say the only three players I could argue, Ray Lewis.
Yeah. I was thinking Ray Lewis too.
But Ray Lewis, man.
Luke Kuechly.
That was tough. Dude,
Luke Kuechly was one of the most talented linebackers I've ever watched with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald is definitely up there as well. I mean his. Okay, let me just go through this. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, including 2017, 2018, 2020. He was the Defensive Rookie of the Year, first team All-Pro 8 times, 10-time Pro Bowler. He led the season in sacks in 2018, All-Decade Team in 2010,
as a nose
All-Rookie
guard
Team
by
in
the way.
2014, and the year before he got drafted, he won. Let's see, Best Defensive Player in college, Best Defensive Player in college, the Lombardi Award for whatever this was. He was a unanimous All-American. He won. Whatever this is, the Bill Willis Trophy, the Outland Trophy for Best Interior Lineman in college. I mean, he his last year, he won 7 trophies and then just continued his dominance in the NFL.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I also thought he was drafted in the 4th or 5th round. I did not know he was a first-round pick. I was goofed.
He was very good coming out of college. I also believe he was an All-Pro last year, which is crazy to think that he retired being an All-Pro, but shout Aaron Donald. Thank God we don't have to face you. I could say that for my team and Keaton's team.
Sam Howell owns your fucking franchise.
I mean, to be honest, you might have retired Jimmy G by yourself with that performance in the NFC Championship. So I'm glad Brock Purdy doesn't have to face you very much. And salute to you, brother. It's been a pleasure to watch you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Last segment, though. Keaton, you talked about it. The 2021 and 2022 quarterback class needs to be researched, talked about, smoked. I mean, that class has been horrible.
Put it in a blunt and smoke that hoe.
Get into it because I got a photo that I'm gonna read out loud to you guys, show you guys all of it. But I mean, it's blasphemous.
It's definitely interesting.
All right. Well, every few years, the NFL goes through a lull, and that lull is sometimes there's just bad players taken in drafts, and sometimes it's just bad years for players to be drafted altogether. And very rarely, though, is it back-to-back years. And 2021, we saw, let's see, how many quarterbacks went off the board here? There was like 8-9 quarterbacks taken off the board. And so it wasn't a lot, right? But let's just name off the few. We had Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall pick. We had Justin Fields, 11th overall. Mac Jones, 15th overall. Zach Wilson, 2nd overall. Trey Lance, right, Zach? Trey Lance, 3rd overall pick. That was it. So there was like
Bad.
6. There was not a ton. All of them were taken in the first. Oh, there was 8 total. All of them taken in the first round or the first 3 rounds. God, I'm trying to get an actual list. Okay, here we go. The official list went Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, all within the top 15. Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, and Davis Mills from 64 to 67. So 3rd round picks.
So bad.
Now, of that list, now only Trevor Lawrence is the starter.
This was 2021, right?
Since 2021. Fast forward to 2022, there are 9 quarterbacks taken.
Yep.
Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, i.e. Aaron Donald's worst nightmare, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral, Chris Oladukin, Bailey Zappi, Brock Purdy, Skylar Thompson. Now, I will say, if everything stays true, Bailey Zappi might be the other starter on this thing.
That's blasphemous.
But, yeah, of that list as well, only one starter exists, and that is, unfortunately, Brock Purdy.
Our GOAT.
And there have been a total of, 17 QBs drafted in the last, from 2021 to 2022, and only 2 were full-time starters.
Yeah, so
pretty wild.
That's really bad. Honestly, both of those draft classes need to get fucking researched, put in a lab. Don't know what scouts were doing. I mean, that was bad. But I have a picture here that shows the quarterbacks picked in the last couple of years. So we got 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. We just went over 2022 and 2021. Let's go over 2020, and it'll just highlight kind of the better ones. Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love. This is probably the best out of the last 5 years, in my opinion. But then you get into 2019 and 2018, and my God, you have Kyler, you have Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins. 2019, that's bad. 2018, you have Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson. So in the last 5 years, we have 2 starters, all 4 stars, 6, 7, 8.
10 starters.
10 starters. 10 starters.
Over like 27 quarterbacks drafted.
Yep. In the last 5 years of picking a quarterback, which means that pretty much every draft, there's going to be 2 startable QBs. And that doesn't mean they're good. I mean, some of these guys are not very good.
And let's be honest. This draft, J.J. McCarthy is going to be that outlier. How he's projected in the top 10, I don't understand.
Dude. Also, I'm starting to kind of fade May as well. I don't know if you are, but I honestly think the first 2 that are going to be picked are the best 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me personally, I think Caleb Williams is a bust, but I'm also a D1 hater. So
no. He's too good.
Yeah. Anyway, well, do you have anything? Yeah. Before we wrap this episode up?
No. Keaton, for you to say Caleb Williams is a bum already, you can't say that yet. Sorry. You just can't.
Sorry. I think he's a bum.
You
couldn't be
can't yet.
Lost to Michael Penix. Couldn't be Michael Penix. So
well, you can't say that yet, Keaton. You just can't. You can't. Wait till the first few games of the NFL season starts and go from there. Then what do you do?
He's a bum.
Oh my god.
Justin
Send him to
Herbert
China.
is a bum.
No.
Shanghai
no.
Shark in 6 years. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways.
XFL starter. Hey, the Seattle Sea Dragons could use a starting quarterback. Caleb Williams fits the bill.
Stop.
Sorry. All right. Well,
Oh my god.
well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I just also want to say we are at the time that we're recording this, we are 8 subscribers away from hitting 200 subs.
Yes.
Which literally a month and a half ago, actually, I want to say a month ago, we hit 100.
Yep.
And we've already doubled that in about a month. So
keep it coming.
Just really
Drop
want
a
to
like,
say,
subscribe, comment, please. Enjoy
reach out to some of us, see how we're feeling. Yeah. And that's the episode. So
we'll catch y'all next week.
hey,
Later.
hey.